In the 14th century, when most of Europe struggled in poverty, one African king possessed so much gold that his generosity shook the world economy. His name was Mansa Musa, the Emperor of Mali, and to this day, historians believe he was the richest man to ever live. But his story is not just about wealth. It is a story of power, faith, knowledge, and a legacy that placed Africa at the center of global history. Mansa Musa ruled the Mali Empire in the early 1300s, one of the largest and most powerful empires in African history. Stretching across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Niger, Guinea, and Mauritania, the empire controlled the most valuable resource of the medieval world: gold. At the time, Mali produced nearly half of the world's gold supply. Caravans carrying salt, ivory, and gold crossed the Sahara Desert daily, making Mali the beating heart of trans-Saharan trade. When Musa became emperor in 1312, he didn't just inherit wealth, he expanded it, strengthening trade routes, cities, and Islamic scholarship. In 1324, Mansa Musa embarked on the journey that would make him world famous, his pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj. But this was no ordinary pilgrimage. Historical records describe a caravan so vast it looked like a moving city. 60,000 men traveled with him, 12,000 servants dressed in silk, hundreds of camels each carrying up to 300 pounds of gold. As Musa passed through cities like Cairo, Medina, and Mecca, he gave away gold generously to the poor, to scholars, to rulers. His generosity was so extreme that in Cairo he flooded the economy with gold, causing inflation that reportedly lasted over a decade. This single journey introduced West Africa's wealth to the wider world. European mapmakers began placing Mali and Mansa Musa on world maps, often illustrated holding a golden orb. But Musa's greatest legacy was not gold, it was knowledge. After returning from Mecca, he brought back architects, scholars, scientists, Islamic teachers. He transformed the city of Timbuktu into one of the greatest centers of learning on earth. There he built and expanded the Jinguereber Mosque. Libraries, universities. Timbuktu soon held hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, covering astronomy, medicine, mathematics, law, and theology. At a time when much of the world lacked formal education systems, Timbuktu became Africa's intellectual capital. Students traveled from across Africa and the Middle East to study there. Mansa Musa ruled with a structured government. He appointed governors to manage provinces, maintain law and order across trade routes, and invested heavily in infrastructure. Under his leadership, cities flourished, trade expanded, culture thrived, religion unified the empire. He balanced wealth with responsibility, ensuring Mali's prosperity lasted beyond his reign. When Mansa Musa died in 1337, he left behind more than riches. He left an empire at its peak, a global reputation for African power, and a legacy of education, faith, and economic influence. Today, historians still measure wealth against him. Adjusted for modern value, his fortune would exceed $400 billion, making him wealthier than any billionaire in history. But his true richness was not gold. It was the civilization he built and the knowledge he left behind.